Welcome to Francis Kelsey. This is Learning Guide 5, Trigonometric Ratios, and Pre-Calculus 12. Oh. All right. The thing you have to remember with trigonometry is you have to have, for Learning Guide 5, we have to have our mode set to degrees. So make sure that you have that mode set to degrees. If you don't, you will have some errors with some of your questions. When we move into Learning Guide 6, you will be switching into radians. But for Learning Guide 5, you will be in degrees. So just check your calculators and make sure your mode is degrees. All right, topic 1, identifying coterminant angles. All right, so let's just go through some terminology here. So the first thing you need to know is, what is an initial arm? An initial arm is a line, or an arm, that goes from 0 degrees right along the x-axis. So that purple line is what we call an initial arm. It's at 0 degrees. Okay, I'll switch colors here and let's go to terminal arm now. I'll do in red. A terminal arm is an angle where you have a line coming from origin, 0, 0, right there, and it comes up. Okay, so that red line is called terminal. It's where the line ends, or the angle ends. All right, and now what you need to know is that when you're dealing with these quadrants, we call, back in grade 11 we were taught that this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. Okay, so you have to remember that for grade 12 as well. So angles that have the same initial arm and the same terminal arm are coterminal. So if I go right there and land on that arm, and go around 360 and land on that arm, I know that they are coterminal, they're the same. So we'll have a look at that. Okay, so now, on the diagram above, draw an angle that measure of three coterminal angles to 30. Okay, so what I did in my little drawing here is I did an angle of 30 degrees, which I know is in quadrant 1. Now, how do I get coterminal? Well, coterminal means if I go one complete circle and back, I know that is going to land on that arm. So if I add 360 to 30, a coterminal would be 390. Okay, that's one. Another one, well, I can go 2 complete circles and back to that arm. Well, 2 circles is 720, that's 360 plus 360. So 720 plus 30. So 720 plus 30 is 750. So 750 degrees, if I should put little degree signs there. All right, now, sometimes I can go backwards. So I'll just change my color here, and I'll show you if you go backwards, you can get a coterminal. So let's do it in red. So if I start here and go this way around to that arm, it's not quite a complete circle. All right, it's just about 360 degrees. It's 30 degrees less than 360, so 330 degrees. And because I'm going this way, we call clockwise around, it's a negative. All right? So those are 3 coterminal measurements to the angle 30. And so let's just summarize this. When we're doing a general solution, this is something that you'll come across, general solution, and you'll hear the terminology positive coterminal and negative coterminal. Well, if I want to do a general, which means I don't want to keep writing each of them out, all I do is I take the angle given. So in this case, 30 was given to me. And then I add, positive, add 360. And general means n. N is the number of times you go around. So for this one right here, my n was 1 because I went around 360 and then I added the 30 to get 390. Well, on this one, my n is 2 because I went around twice, which was 720, and I added that. Okay? Now, if I do the negative coterminal, well, we take the angle that was given to us, and now negative, we are subtracting 360. All right? And general means the n. Okay? So in this case, this negative 330, I went 1 revolution, not even quite, and then I subtracted to get the 330. Really, really important on these questions where you have an n, okay, when you have this n in the question, you got to add n, e, I to each of the questions, because that represents n, which is the letter in my general solution, is an element, what's that, e, of integers, I. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, or negative 1, negative 2, which just means the number of revolutions. Okay, example 1b. Draw a negative angle. Okay, negative angles, we sort of touched that on the last slide. Well, negative means you're going the opposite direction, so we say clockwise. So I'm going 90, 120 is about there. Now I draw my terminal arm. Okay, there's my arm. So that angle is negative 120. Now it says we have to find 2 coterminal. Well, if we're doing a positive coterminal, remember from the last slide, we are going to go 360 plus the negative 120. All right, so that would get us 240. All right, so there's 1 coterminal. And if I wanted to do another coterminal, because it says give 2, I can do 2 revolutions, which is 720. And then I add it to the angle they gave us, which is negative 120, which gets us 600. All right. And there's multiple answers. Okay, you could have given me a negative 360, so you could have gone this way around. Okay. So if you gave me a negative 360 and you added it to negative 120, the angle that was given to us, you could have an answer of negative 480. Okay, so there's lots of different answers you could have given me. Okay, now if it asks for the general solution, so it's asking us for the general solution, what we would do is, because we can keep on going forever, we would just say negative 120, that's the angle they gave us, plus, and you can say minus, because I did do the minus down here, 360 n. Okay, now because this n can be negative integers, this negative is, you don't need it, so I can take it out, so I don't need it. Okay, so don't put that in there, just say negative 120 plus 360n, because n I can just make it into negative 1, negative 2, which will get us the answer. All right, so just to summarize what we just did, remember if the angle is greater than 0, a positive, we are going counterclockwise. If the angle given is less than 0, so we say negative, it's going clockwise. All right?